Hi everyone, my name is Sarah, and today I want to talk to you about avoiding deceptive news and fact-checking your sources. Disclaimer, I'm not a professional, but this is an interest that takes up a lot of my time because I love it, so I've researched it quite a bit. So here we go. First, keep in mind the media landscape is always changing. Over time, the printing press evolved into radio broadcast news, and radio broadcast news developed into the 24-hour television news cycle we know today. And that is becoming increasingly obsolete in the digital era. So, with each introduction of a new medium for the message, we must adapt and learn how to meet the challenges of new technologies in order to get the clearest form of the clearest form of the message possible. In the immortal words of Lou Reed, the only thing constantly changing is change. By this I mean, in a world of digital media designed to rouse and generate views, it is necessary to develop our own fact-checking skills. I'll explain how to use these steps to help you find the most reliable information out there. These 6 steps for verifying accuracy and credibility are modeled after methods used by professional fact-checkers. First, analyze the title and domain of the site. Personal blogs are not reliable news sources. WordPress in the domain indicates a blog, for example. Also, some satire sites that end in low, like newslow, are known for adding fictional facts to factual facts for entertainment purposes. Usually the first paragraph is factual and the rest is just nonsense. Then there are the blatantly deceptive imposters using the names of well-known credible news outlets and taking them as their own. For example, here's what cbsnews.com looks like. The official version looks like this. However, cbsnews.com.co looks like this. Oh, as you can see, quite a difference there. So, exercise proper caution with unfamiliar domains like .co, but don't be immediately dismissive. Use discretion. Many highly popular sites like Facebook and Amazon use these kinds of domains too to shorten their web addresses and reach international consumers. Side note, don't accept anything at face value. Just check it out for obvious inconsistencies and shady behavior. For example, check out this bogus version of ABC News. So, each article, I've circled them here, but each article as you go has the same author, Jimmy Rustling, by the name of Jimmy Rustling. Okay, so obviously that is not a good sign. There are a lot of credible .co's out there, so make sure yours is one of them by doing a little investigation. Look into their About Us section. This is step 2. And again, don't take anything at face value. So Google anything you find in the About Us that might be important, like names and titles. Another side note, when you Google stuff, don't go by the order of search results. Use the most reliable domain listed. Try to find as much as you can about their background, history, credentials, board of directors. Check out their publishers, editors, domain owners. Some satirical sites have disclaimer sections rather than about me's. And many unreliable sites have neither. Look into your sources. This is step 3. If there are citations within the article to studies or other such links, look up those sources and compare the documents to what is being written to see if the two are compatible and make sure the information is reflected accurately. Also, check the quotes cited, verify them with other sources, and confirm all facts and details in quotes elsewhere. I cannot emphasize how important this part is. Generally, 2 or more sources within an article is the rule, the general rule. Look out for transitions like according to, or any words like said, told, stated, or any such synonyms to find those sources. 2 or more per article. Also, make sure there's more than one platform out there reporting the story, although, a lack of coverage may indicate corporate media bias or other factors. You cannot verify the accuracy and credibility of your information without first assessing and confirming it appropriately. So please do. Step 4, study the writing style of your author. Certain things are easier to pick up on than others. Stuff like, wow, all caps, exclamation points in the headlines. It's generally not a sign of professionalism. This style is intended to produce an emotional reaction, and much of this type of media exists specifically to enrage, generate shares, and contribute to ad revenue. Okay. Speaking of easy to spot inconsistencies, a lot of fake news sites have ugly layouts. Analyze the visual style of the site. This is step 5. Questionable ones might use Photoshop fabricated images or overly cluttered text. Finally, step 6, see if you can find the story on social media for comparison or verification. If you can, check out that page and find its origin. The use of inflammatory and sensational language are signals of clickbait. Are there a lot of shares? If so, that might be because the article is being shared because it's specifically designed to be shared. That might be emphasis on urgency or claims to be better than the mainstream, real, honest, fair, true truth, such things. Reputable news sites are not known for constantly reminding their audience that they are doing their job by reporting accurately. So make sure they are doing so by comparing the information in the article to the headlines and descriptions to determine if something is intentionally misleading you. So, finally, there's also native advertising and sponsored content. Please be aware that these are not news. There is a natural tendency for us to consider any news if we believe it presents useful information, even if the content is sponsored or sensationalized. But there are a wide variety of things we can do for ourselves to make sure we are staying properly informed. Although shifting media landscape means medium is always changing, the message stays the same. I want to read this passage from the AP Style book to give you an idea of what that means and continues to mean. That means we abhor inaccuracies, carelessness, bias, or distortions. It means we will not knowingly introduce false information into material intended for publication or broadcast, nor will we alter photo or image content. Quotations must be accurate and precise. It means we always strive to identify all the sources of our information. It means we don't plagiarize. It means we don't misidentify or misrepresent ourselves to get a story. And ultimately, it means it is the responsibility of every one of us to ensure that these standards are upheld. And that includes you. So we must learn how to recognize that message when and what it means when we see it. We hear a lot about fake news these days. Regardless of your opinions about the press, despite your political affiliation, you should always be aware of how the changing media landscape, methods for earning revenue, and generally keeping a struggling industry alive have contributed to new challenges that we must learn to adapt to so we can evaluate the accuracy of the news we consume. These steps will help you do just that. Thank you so much for listening.